does it feel in your home office? How do you feel? Do you feel, oh, nice and relaxed? Or you're stressed, overwhelmed, everything is on top of you? This is absolutely key for you to have an environment who's going to help you and support you in your office space. So today, as my guest today, my Feng Shui expert is Cathi Hargaden. Hello, Cathi. How are you?
Hi there, Claire.
You well?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm feeling great. The spring is here and I've changed my office space, so I'm ready to go. New ideas.
Isn't it just amazing? I love this time of year. It really is, the sun, the light is so much later, and, it really feels that, the summer's coming. So, and everything springs it, you go for a walk and everything's like bubbling and opening up, and it's just beautiful, isn't it? Really
It is,
beautiful
yes.
time. So Cathi, you are a Feng Shui expert. We've known each other for probably about over a year now. And so how did you get into Feng Shui? Tell me a little bit of that story, because it's been a while now you've been doing that, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. I've done many different things. So I've brought everything together and it's been a way of using all my different skills in the art of Feng Shui. But I never had heard of it before. I was meditating and I was part of a group, and I'm still part of that group. And somebody walked into my apartment at the time and she said, "Oh, you've got natural Feng Shui." I said, "Oh, what does that mean?" And so she explained, and then after that, I just went in. It was like a spider's web. I started off with some basic information and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I ended up looking into Islamic architecture and color and everything. I was already an aromatherapist at the time.
Oh,
So
were
it's
you?
gone hand in hand, yeah, with Feng Shui.
Oh, I see. Yes. I think that's the thing, isn't it, about Feng Shui? Somebody talks about it or somebody says something and you're kind of intrigued about it and say, what? And then, once you start a little, there's no stopping you. You just want to know more and everything about it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, Claire, I'm also an occupational therapist and I've been in 11,000 homes.
Right. Well,
So you begin to sharpen up your senses going in and out of people's homes. And
yes.
you start to see the array of messages in and around people's homes. And then you look at why they're not healthy.
Right.
You
Yes.
may look at why they're not wealthy.
Right.
And it's because the messages that they have unconsciously positioned in and around themselves.
Mm.
Anything from, it could be anything from clutter to the artwork to blockages in the front entrance to
Mm.
anything in the property.
Mm.
People are often unconscious of how they've set themselves up
Mm.
for these messages to be reflected back to them, and they're not really often good messages.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. And I think that's the beauty also, to have somebody who's doing a consult for you as when you kind of start, because they can see things that you don't, because it's your environment. And having somebody from the outside coming in and asking, what's all this about?
Yeah. You know what? I think that's what you're paying for when you get a consultant. You're paying for their objectivity and their neutrality, because it's not just what you see, it's also what you can feel as
Yeah.
well.
Mm.
And, the sixth sense, you're also picking up things there.
Mm.
But, yeah, also from what you can see.
Mm.
And I mean, I've sold houses based on a picture on the wall. Yeah. I'm going to do a whole feature on that. There was a beautiful native Indian picture, and the guy said, "I'm going to take the house." And I said, "Oh, what was it that made you want to buy it?" He said, "I like that picture."
Brilliant.
Really? So, there's all kinds of emotional tugs and hooks that people buy into. And they would call it marketing. But I teach people how can you set up your own marketing messages in and around where you live? And increasingly, as we know in the last year, more and more people are having to work out of their home. And
Yes.
so where do they work from? Where do they work from? And I've noticed, because I've had lots of dealings with corporate and governmental institutions, that when I'm talking to somebody, I can tell they're working from home,
Right.
because the voice is a lot more sloppy. It's like unprofessional. And there is an inability there for people to dock into their professional mode, because the environment itself is one of maybe relaxation. I'm at home, I can put my feet up, you know, and so you can actually hear the difference.
And just
You know,
getting dressed, isn't it? That's the thing, where you think you work from home, I'll work from my pajamas and I'll just put a nice shirt on top. That just doesn't, that just doesn't
no, because
seem right.
the energy won't allow that deception to occur. It's not deception intended. It's just the situation people have found themselves in. But what a lot of people don't realize is that they have to carve out a piece of space for themselves, which sets them up for a professional messaging or professional routine in and around that space, so that they can conduct their work in a way that, exudes an integrity. And that's what people really need to do in their own space. And it can be done easily. It doesn't have to cost a lot.
How can it be done? So let's say we have, or whoever's listening to the video today, the interview, have an office. So they have got a space that they can call office as such, which not everybody can do, but that's fine. If you want to do that, go back and watch some of the previous video that we've done and talked about small spaces. But so what are the key things that you would need to set up your home office, and so you can really kind of be the best, be performing, the productive and creative and all that kind of things?
Well, it comes down to energy.
Okay.
So if you can get yourself a bit of space, that you can change the energy of that space. So how are you going to change the energy of any space? So here's some tips. First of all, like you've done and I have, we've got a plant. We've got a plant. Get in the plants. I've got a plant in front of me here. The plants are talking to you all the time, and they're exuding a different resonance, a different energy. So that will be a tip in how to get yourself out of the home, relaxation, confusion, the focus on bills, the focus on cooking, and put yourself into a space where
It's 11 hours.
There you go. That you're thinking clearly, and there is a reminder. Time is a reminder of where you're working. So
true.
keep yourself into a time capsule of what you need for working is clarity, because you're making decisions, but you're also communicating. So if you can, have something in front of you that is a message for you. What's the message? For example, why is anybody working? Where is it they want to go? What's their goals in life? And just having that image or the picture in front of them. It could even be a word. I'll share what I've got in front of me. I can't show you, but I've got the word arigato.
Right.
Arigato is the Japanese word for thank you. So, I'm setting up a form of gratitude already before I even start for whatever comes my way, whatever opportunities, of which we've discussed some even this morning. I've also got a code that nobody else can decipher, but I know what it means.
Yes.
So this is how you keep your what's called anonymity. The rest of the people in the home don't need to know. And the other alternative is you can put up a Feng Shui vision board, of which I've taught a free videos on my website now. I'm about to take it down, but you can, jump on there and create your own Feng Shui vision board so
Yes.
that when you turn up to work, you know why you're doing this.
Yes.
It's not because you just want, your money at the end of the month, or you've got to pay bills from the kids that are crying at the other end of the property. You've got a clear plan of where you're going, and so you're motivated.
Yes.
You're motivated. Now, so we've got the plans, we've got what's in front of you, and I've actually given this knowledge to people who have been mentally ill. And when I have done, the change in the energy of them immediately is unbelievable. Why is that? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I'm handing the power back to the person. I'm not doing it for them. And that's what I love about Feng Shui, is I'm empowering people. Here's the knowledge. This is what you do here. This is what you do there. But that's not before I understand who you are, because everyone's an individual. So people can do some generic things, like I've said about the plants, about pictures at the front. So you're looking at what you're looking at all day. But also there are specific individual things as well that are pertinent to you, that are different to me. I mean, obviously that would be done on a consultation, but generically speaking, what can people also set up for themselves? A beautiful aroma. Now, we don't want an aroma here that's like, oh, sit back and feel like you're sunbathing. We want an aroma of, we want an aroma of, let's go, we're ready to go. We are clear about the decisions we're making. We're taking responsibility for those decisions. We are being innovative. We're being opportunistic in terms of taking opportunities and making those opportunities. And we're being magical about how we work, because bringing that ingredient of magic into your world is the secret ingredient. Even just hearing the chimes, that elevates your mood. Just so having a few little chimes, they don't have to be big banging ones, but ones that actually tinker with the heart. They make a connection with your heart chakra. So what kind of blends would you be looking at?
Yes,
well, blending.
I was going to ask you, what would be best in an office environment? How can you?
Nice. Well, first thing is I would always go for rosemary, because it's a waker-upper.
Okay.
So it wakes you up. So if you're feeling that you can't leave behind what's going on in the rest of the house, like arguments or dynamics going on, get your rosemary, because it's gonna kind of take you out of that and become focused. And combined with that, you want a little bit of basil, because basil is good for memory and also clarity.
Oh, fantastic.
Now you don't want these kind of heavy, they're quite uplifting, but what you can mix in there then is a bit of lime or orange. And we all know that we associate these citrus aromas with like a Mediterranean climate. So we've got those oils that are going to give us clarity, but with a little bit of roundedness. We've got the fruits, the citrus. Yeah. So it changes our mood, and we want to go forward. Like we're feeling now, the sun. Okay, what if it's raining today? Well, that's okay, because we've got the lime, we've got the orange, we've got the rosemary, and also rosemary is a good one for warding off any unwanted feelings coming towards. So if you've had an argument with somebody in the house, of which, we are human, people do have arguments, then rosemary is a very good way of restoring your
peace,
your own kind of peace and energetic being intact, so that you can switch pretty fast from having an argument to, hello, I'm here to help you. So these aromas are just integral to how you work. And I can't emphasize how important. Now, people might say, well, that's got nothing to do with Feng Shui, but it's got everything, because I've created the five elements in Feng Shui.
Fantastic.
The earth, water, metal, wood, and water. Well, you can have a metal. So we would need a metal aroma, Why metal? Because metal is to do with the mind. So you want to get the mind really
Sharp.
ready to go.
Yes.
Sharp. We want sharpness.
Yes.
We want clarity. We want to be awake. So the metal element is really good for the office. If you're talking about the end of the day, or say if you're very stressed about your work, then the earth element might be good to just calm down.
Ground yourself, isn't it? Just,
yeah.
Yeah,
so you'd be looking at things like sandalwood, benzoin with a little bit of frankincense and lime, geranium.
Nice. So actually, so the senses, you talked about actually the smell, and you talked about the tinkling, the ear, and also you talked about the visual, that inspiring thing. So really, it's connecting with our five senses, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's connecting with the five senses, but there is another ingredient there that when you combine all them together, it's the magic, it's the invisible.
Right. Yeah.
And so people setting up their own office at home, one of the things I would say, two things actually, is make sure that you've cleared the space. Now, I'm sure you've seen lots of interviews going on in YouTube, Zoom, and people are inquisitive. They're looking at the back. Oh, what have they got there? Oh, inevitably, you'll see, especially I think with some of the guys, they've got all the books all piled together, and some of the places look a mess,
Right.
to be quite honest. And yeah, we all make value judgments, but as a Feng Shui consultant, yeah, I'm always like, okay. But clear the clutter out of the space that you've designed for you to work from, no matter where it's from. Make sure that, that when you're doing your business, that you're not looking at old papers and things of the past that are going to drag your energy down. And the other one is maybe not for everybody, but, to kind of cleanse the space. So, even with an incense stick or with a sound bowl. I just did some healing sessions on Sunday with the healing sound bowls.
Yeah.
And change in vibration was just unbelievable. There was 20 of us there. And those people all walked out. There was not a word said. We were all just in a great state of being. And so you could even just use, even if you don't know how to use the sound bowls, you can just tap, because it gives a vibration. And what it does is it wakes up that area. It wakes up the energy so that it wakes you up, and it's invisible. But everything that's most important in our life is invisible.
Yes. It's that subconscious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Happening in the subconscious, and then when it comes up to the conscious, it's too late. Half the time, isn't it? So that's why really in an environment, in your office environment, looking at, those five senses, putting them together, and then the five elements, I guess, as well. So that's kind of putting them together as well to create that energy, which you don't see, but it's there. And you don't, people may not understand it, but it's there.
Well, the other thing is, the reason why you've got the five elements is because most people's lives are out of balance. So, and what your state of balance will be different from mine, because I'm made up of different kinds of elemental structures. You may have more fire in you or more earth in you. And I, Cathi Hargaden, I've got, astrologically, I've got equal amounts of earth, fire, water, and air. But that's the four elements of the Indian system. But, that's what causes a lot of pain in people, is because they're not balanced. They're doing too much work and not enough rest, or they don't work at all, or, so it's getting that balance for you. And that's why you would use a little bit of each of the five elements. But you might need a little bit more, say, earth, or you might need a little bit more metal than the others.
Depending
and it's understanding you. Yes. Or or yourself. It's about what do you need. If you're a bit low in energy, you need a bit of fire to wake you up. So what would you bring? What would you bring on into your workspace if you need more fire and more zap? Well, you'd bring some flowers. So have a little vase of flowers with I mean, I can't show you, but I've got a plant here and it's got red leaves on it. So that's the red energy. We need the fire energy to get going. Fire is action. So get going. So we've got the fire. What do you need? What if you need some earth energy? So you could have some pebbles, a couple of 2 or 3 pebbles, which is the earth. And often we can use the, we can actually hold the earth. We can talk to people, but we can hold the pebble and it actually grounds you. So add the element of water. Once again, you can put it in a pitcher with water flowing. Now, you don't want a waterfall because that's too kind of dramatic. With anything to do with water, obviously it's to do with your wealth in Feng Shui. So you want something that's flowing and not captured in a lake necessarily or in a waterfall. Or you could have a feature, not necessarily, I wouldn't put a fountain because you're gonna be hearing that, but anything you can get those water glass beads. But basically what it is it's marketing for you. When you are associating with the element of water, it is to do with money, finances and wealth and keeping it moving. So you can have a glass bowl with water in and glass pebbles, blues and greens and whites. And very simple. You don't have to go out and buy these big, huge features that people often associate with Feng Shui. You can make it very, very simple. And I would say less is more, really.
True. And that's why also when you go to Chinese restaurants, you say big fish tank, don't you? Because that's the
Right.
water element, that's the prosperity that they bring into the restaurant, isn't it?
That's right. You'll see that right across the world, wherever I've gone, Singapore, even Thailand, all the restaurants in this country, they will all have a fish tank and they will have also a fountain. Dubai is another place where you'll get that. And often also you will see, maybe it's more the Vietnamese and the Thai culture, but you'll have an altar at the front of the shop, and that's relaying gratitude and a thank you for all the custom that's coming through into your life.
Yeah, it's
So it's all symbolic. Everything around us is symbolic. I mean, I've got the picture in the background. That's the Wizard of Oz, and that's symbolic for so many different things on so many different levels. So people can create what they need in their life through the power of symbolism, and having a little bit of each of the 5 elements allows them to feel balanced. I've gone into places before and there's absolutely no plants, and I can really feel it because the plants are giving off oxygen.
Yes.
So, this is kind of changing the atmosphere in your space. And especially if you are working from home, you need inspiration. You need inspiration to continue doing the job you're doing, because a lot of people don't want to be doing their jobs, and it's very apparent in their voice. Their voices have become very sloppy, very unprofessional, even to the point where I've heard people talking a lot more about their personal stuff. Why? Because they think they're at home having a chat. And so they start talking, and in some ways it's quite interesting because they've let their guard down. They wouldn't do that if they were in an office. Now, whether that's right or wrong, it depends on what you're working for, who you're working for. But, you want to keep your personal separate from your office.
So there need to be boundaries, isn't it? There's a lack of boundaries when you're working from home, and people have not been able to, a lot of people are not able to really kind of keep those boundaries and make it that I am going to work today, this morning, and and then I'm leaving the office, I close everything down and I've finished for the day, and that kind of thing. So you hear so many stories of people working hours and hours and hours, day and
Yes.
night,
Yeah.
because they can, and that's really scary as well, isn't it?
That's why I'm coming back to balance.
Mm,
People got to get a balance, otherwise their health will deteriorate, their
mm,
relationships will deteriorate, and this is very apparent with what's gone on in the last year, is people's relationships. There's more conflict in and around the home, so that creates an atmosphere. So
mm,
how do you get rid of that atmosphere and start again and remend and repair, the dynamics amongst people?
mhm.
And so you need to create a space where you can actually close it up and leave it until the next day.
Mhm.
So you're not living out of your workspace, which people are, you know.
Mm.
Um, so making your workspace very different from the rest of the house
Yeah, definitely.
in terms of this is, even if you have to put up a boundary,
Mm.
even if you have to put up a boundary, even though it's not walls, it's not doors,
Yes.
but a physical boundary where you are actually stepping in
Mm.
to the work space
Space. Yeah.
and then leaving it behind and dealing with and enjoying your other part of your life.
Mm. Yeah, that's really, really cool. That's really true. Well, Cathi, that's just been amazing. So much there really in what you've talked about today. My little finger tells me that you have just launched an online course as well. Woo-hoo-hoo! How exciting
Yeah,
is this?
yeah, thank you. Yeah, yeah, I have, and it's actually dealing with what we've been speaking about is how to create a balance in your life with the 5 elements,
Right.
clearing the clutter, changing what you can't feel, what you can't see, but you can feel, you can sense, how
Mm.
to make it, get rid of the old stuff, bring in the new.
Mm.
And the aroma blends we were talking about, how
Yes.
to create them.
Of
Because
course.
this is something people can all do on their own.
Yes.
And this is a way people can change their life by changing their space
Mm.
so that they're getting different messages back, more supportive messages for them. Nothing to do with the outside world, but messages that support them in their endeavors in their journey in life.
And support them on that subconscious level, isn't it? That you don't know it's happening, but it is happening, and it's supporting you. It's,
Yeah,
it's empowering you to be better and be the best person you can be, and that's all we want to do, isn't it, in life? Actually,
yeah.
live
Is
halfway
is is
right.
uh, what's come to mind when I was just speaking to you there is make your own medicine.
Yes, and that's what
That's
Feng
what
Shui
it.
is about, isn't it? Feng Shui is about
Mhm,
you know feeling good in your own space.
mm.
And that's not about changing everything or putting everything in different colors. It's about feeling good in your own space with your own elements, your own things in
In
your home.
harmony, in
Yeah.
harmony with your nature, your own nature.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
really
it's a
cool.
fascinating subject.
So tell
Yeah.
me, where is your website? Where can people find you if they want to go do the course? And also you talked about the vision board, the Feng Shui vision board. I love it. I've got mine right in front of me, and
Oh,
it's something
great.
that so
Great.
where can they find you then?
Okay, so I'm on wealthyspaces.com,
Okay.
and at the moment the vision board is there for people. They
Okay.
can take a video and do it themselves. However, that's going to be changed over to a free ebook on what we've been talking about, which is how
Ooh,
to blend the 5 elements. So you can get that yourself.
excellent.
and but also the course is one step more than that,
Okay.
well, many steps more than that, and that will also be on the website for launching. And also the book I had published is very much about what's on the course. That actually comes with the course, is the published book. So don't
Fantastic.
buy it on
Don't
its
buy the
own.
book
Get
yet.
the course and you'll get
Yes.
the book with it,
Great.
definitely. And
Yeah.
you've got, there's bonuses there with 20% off the aroma blends, and also I think it's some money off a consultation as well. So people can go and empower themselves with the knowledge.
Yes.
And they can also ask for help from me if they need it.
Yes, that's fantastic. I love it. I love it. Right. Well, that's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for all that wisdom and all those tips for working from home. It was just fabulous. Click on the link below, subscribe, watch some of the other video, learn and create your spaces that, you know, you can feel amazing. Really kind of look at your environment and the environment will look after you. That's one good thing to do.
True.
Yeah. All right, Cathi. Thank you very much. Speak to you very soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.